New studio installment for Doomocracy and the title Unorthodox. So, how do you feel, guys, about that new album?
Okay, yeah, we're very happy to finally be able to release a new album. It's been 5 years since we released Visions and Creatures of Imagination, which was our second. And, we had the album ready at about 2019. We were about to get into the studio, and then, of course, the pandemic broke out, so we had to postpone everything. It took 5 years, and so we're really happy to finally be able to release this album, which we have worked a lot about this album, and we're really proud of it.
So, your new album, Unorthodox, is due to be released in 2 days from now on 11th of November by No Remorse Records. What are we going to hear from you guys this time?
The album is going to be released in 2 days, as you say, by No Remorse Records, which is a renowned Greek record label. What you will hear in this album, to be honest, it's a natural evolution of the band. Doomocracy have always been, not the stereotype doom metal band or epic doom metal band. Ever since our first album, we also showed influences from US metal and even progressive metal, which developed in our second album and are even more evident now on our third album. So it's a natural evolution of just us trying to stay fresh and express ourselves in the situation that we compose every time.
Okay, as the pandemic now is a bad dream or not, I see that Unorthodox passed through many stages, from Diva Sound Studios in Athens to Groove Studio in Heraklion, Crete, and then to Solna Sound Recording Studio in Stockholm, Sweden. Do you face any difficulties making the album, as you said before, in general, or any delays, as you said, regarding pandemic or anything else?
Yes, like I said, the album was almost complete by the end of 2019, and we had arranged to enter Deva Sound Studios about around June 2020. Then, like you said, the COVID pandemic came, and we had to postpone everything. But that gave us a chance to really work on the songs more to the last detail, and it was it was a delay, and it was not a very good thing for us, but it gave us time to work on the songs and on the concept of the album more. So we finally entered Deva Sound Studios, as you said, in 2021. We recorded all instruments there, which was the first time that we did that. The previous albums, we just recorded drums in Athens, and Visions the drums were recorded in Deva Sound Studios. But this time we recorded everything there, and it was a very smooth process with Fotis Bernardo, which is an excellent engineer, and his help was invaluable. And after recording, I am friends, and we're in the band. We're friends with Simon Johansson from Memory Garden and Wolf, and he proposed to us that he wanted to mix our next album. So when the time was near, we discussed it with him, and we came to an agreement for him to mix the album along with Mike Wade, which I guess you know from
Of course.
Fate, all those amazing bands.
I will make some questions about that later.
Yeah, sure, of course. So we mixed and mastered the album there, and to be honest, we are really excited about the end result. I mean, the sound is exactly what we had in mind. It is not over compressed. It is it has kind of an analog feeling to it, which is very, very nice for us. I mean, we don't like the current mixes that are and masterings that are over compressed. So yeah, we like the mix and mastering very much. We think they did a wonderful job. I don't know what you think about it.
Yes, of course. I like the sound, the feeling, that full sound that the record has, the album has. Any funny story from the recordings? Any particular time in the recordings that you remember?
Oh, funny story. Like I said, Fotis is an amazing person, so we had a lot of fun while recording. But to remember a certain story, huh? I can't really say that anything specific comes to mind, but it was a really fun process. I mean, fun in the way that we were, of course, doing a serious job, and we were doing the best that we could for the best result. But if you're not having fun during the recording process, then maybe you don't get the best out of yourself while recording. And it was really nice having Fotis around while we were doing this.
Also, as we mentioned before, there are some guests on the album, and some of them are distinguished among the metal community. Can you tell us something about them, as how all this came to free? I will never say that word correctly. Okay.
So we had Mike Weed to co-produce our album with Simon Johansson. So we had to ask him to play a solo on our album, which we did, and he was gracious enough to accept. So he played a solo on the finale of the album, the song Catharsis. And yeah, it's very reminiscent of the Memento Mori days, what he played, and we were really thrilled about the result. We also have Mr. Miguel Urbina, ex-Memento Mori keyboardist, on 4 songs. We worked with him on the Visions album, so we had to, have him again to work with us after a successful partnership. We have 2 narrators because it's a concept album, so we have, 2 narrations that help develop the story, Mr. Brian Healy and Mr. Clive Birch. And on one of these narrations, background music is a piano, which is performed by Mr. Sakis Pandis from Horizon Sen. We also have a choir on 3 songs, which, the tenor of the choir is Mr. Stratis Steele from Endomain. I'm sure you know him.
Yes, yes.
And yeah, I hope I'm not forgetting anyone else, but yeah, these are the guests of the album.
Okay, as we spoke about distinguished guests on the album, let's talk about distinguished painters for the artwork. The cover of the album is from the well-renowned, and I hope I will say correct his name, Mariusz Lewandowski. Last job on an album of him that I saw, I believe, was the beautiful The Course of Empire from Atlantean Codex back in 2019. What made you go for Mariusz, and why choose the specific cover painting? By the way, it's very beautiful.
Thank you very much. We knew of Mariusz Lewandowski as an artist for many years now. We admired his work, and when the time came and we had finished the concept and the story of the album, and we had the title, Unorthodox, we were looking through several paintings, and yeah, we looked on some of Lewandowski's paintings as well. So when we were scrolling, we came across his painting, The Lore of Hope. And I remember it was an evening back in 2019, somewhere at the end of 2019, and we were all sitting, all the band, just scrolling at his covers. And when we saw this painting, The Lore of Hope, we were all amazed, and we were like, this is it. This is definitely what fits the concept, the album title, and we should definitely try to use this. So we got in touch with him, And he was, he loved the idea, and we got the rights to use his painting. We were really sad to hear about his loss, which was a few months ago. He was an incredible artist.
Okay, as we spoke a couple of days back, preparing this interview, you mentioned that Unorthodox is a conceptual story. A few words, and what made you pick this concept?
Unorthodox is indeed a conceptual story. I had this concept, this story on my mind, this idea, let's say, on my mind for a long time. So the main idea is that I don't know if you know the change of the calendar.
Believe me, I dig in just to know about it.
Yes, of course. With the change of the calendar that happened in October 1582, yes, which was a change to fix a divergence between the seasons and the months, actually. So they did this, and in order to fix this, they had to skip 10 days. So they went from the 4th of October to the 15th of October, 1582. So those 10 days in between actually never existed. This was always a topic that I was, I thought it was really strange, like, 10 days that never existed. It was really peculiar. So I thought of, we live in a world where it's full of conspiracy theories and everything. So why not create our own conspiracy theory and work, a concept album around it? So the guys loved the idea, and we worked together to build this concept album, which is about, a man that learns the way to cheat death. And of course, he shares this knowledge with the people and gains many followers. And naturally, the establishment, being the Catholic Church during those years, becomes restless and persecutes him and tries to kill him. So if you want to know what happened, you have to listen to the album with the lyrics in front of you.
That's very beautiful. I want you, when the time comes, to read the lyrics. The first videos for the promotion of the album were first the video Prelude to the Apocalypse, if I remember right, then followed Eternally Lost, and then Novum Dogma. All of those video clips, and what made you to choose those specific songs for videos? Can we expect any more videos?
So we wanted to make as many videos as possible, and we got in touch with Mr. Daniel Wellstrom from Sweden, who is responsible of the most recent video clips from the band Sorcerer, Wolf, Memory Garden. Like I said, all those bands are, they're kind of friends with Doomocracy. So we know them and asked them about Daniel, and they said he was fantastic. We made an offer, and he was gracious to accept and come all the way from Sweden to Crete. And the idea was to shoot as many videos as possible. So we chose the song Eternally Lost because we think it's one of the best on the album. We chose the song Prelude to the Apocalypse because it's the shortest song of the album. And this is why we released it first. Let's say how they used to say it in the 80s, it's like our hit single or whatever.
Okay, yes.
So, and then, of course, Novum Dogma, I mean, critics and people that have heard the song say it's one of the best songs that we've ever written. So we had to release that one as well. And, on Friday, 11th of November, with the release of our album, there will be another video coming up about the song Our Will Be Done, which is another beautiful song on the album. And there will probably be another video clip with a big surprise, but I cannot tell you more about this right now.
Okay, without knowing the concept of the videos that will follow, Considering a lyric video is an easy and more simple and not so expensive way to promote the album and the songs, you went all with all of them live, like live videos. What made you, make that choose? Because it's not an easy task making live videos, especially your ones, because it's not some video clips that you are just playing on the camera. Have a story and a subject and a concept.
Yes, we just wanted to, have represent the songs in the best possible way. And since we had the chance with Mr. Wellstrom, who came to Crete, and we were actually filming for 4 days straight, day and night. So because we had that chance, this is why we tried to shoot as many videos as possible. And I'm not really, I don't mind lyric videos. We've done lyric videos in the past, of course, but a real video clip with the band playing and the story is always better, in my opinion. So since we had that chance, I mean, why not take it and represent the songs in the best way and more professional way possible? This is why we tried to do this. And that doesn't mean that we might not have a lyric video for the rest of the songs later on, of course.
One question that I like to ask is that after all this that we have been through, like the pandemic, do you believe that the pandemic unintentionally made a new way of creativity for the artist? We saw many collaborations and carrying songs throughout those 2.5 years, and from this threshold, I believe, do you believe that the artists made themselves better?
I would say that the partnerships that you're probably referring to, if I understood correctly, was a result of the pandemic itself.
Exactly.
People being in lockdowns and people not being able to perform live. I mean, especially artists and in particular musicians. It was really hard for everyone. So we had to do something about it. So it's natural that people, partner with other people and try to release new music. So of course, I think it's a natural thing that this happened. Um, so about what's happening now after the pandemic, I mean, everyone is really hungry after 2.5 years for music, to release new music, to play live. We haven't played live since September 2019 with Doomocracy. Can you imagine this? It's already been 3 years. So it's really frustrating, and we're really hungry. We really want to get back to the stage, because that's why we do everything, to go on the stage and be with our fans. So I guess that everyone is really hungry after the pandemic, like I said, to perform and to release new music. So yes, I understand why there's this blooming of new music right now.
After releasing Unorthodox, what are the plans for touring?
We have our release party, which is in 2 days from now, and it's in Heraklion, Crete, our hometown. After that, we will probably not play live, because one of the band members is undergoing a serious operation. So he will be absent and recovering for a few months. So we will start touring probably during spring 2023. And yeah, we're making plans about it, and playing festivals in the summer, and touring around Europe. We cannot tour extensively because we all have day jobs, so it's not easy for us to do this. But we would definitely try to do some mini tours and play some festivals, and we're trying to organize these events as we speak.
Recently, many bands are cancelling their tours due to the unbearable costs from the war on Ukraine that made an economic domino. Do you believe we will have more cancellations on the way? Do you believe possible tour days abroad for Doomocracy are doable, are possible?
It's a hard situation. I mean, it's like we're in a movie or something. First, we had so many years of recession. Then we had the pandemic, and then now we have a war that we never thought would happen in Europe. I mean, I don't even want to know what's next. But the way things are right now, yeah, it's becoming a bit more difficult for bands to tour with the recession and everything, which is due to the war now. And to be honest, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, we will try our best to to book shows and try to solidify those shows and talk with the promoters so that we are sure that these shows will not be cancelled unless something really bad happens. So we will try our best to book the shows and make them happen. I don't know. I don't know. I hope that everything works out okay.
Okay, now that I say the difficult questions. Which bands do you believe influenced Doomocracy? Which bands you grew with in a way?
Well, of course, we're all influenced by the music that we listen to. In the band Democracy, each band member has different bands they love or worship. Uh, I mean, we all love doom metal, but we listen to several bands. If I can speak for myself, I mean, I'm a big fan of Fates Warning, especially of John Arch era of Fates Warning. Eight Apparent, Candlemas, Solitude Eternus, Memento Mori, all those bands. I mean, Psychotic Walls, all those bands are inside me. So even if I don't want them to influence me, they are already part of me. So they influenced me and the band, of course, in many ways. But yeah, we try to absorb all those influences and stay fresh and as original as we can.
What other bands are you listening to this time around?
Okay, I never stopped listening to Shadow Gallery, to be honest. I mean, it's one of my favorite bands, and on my way to work, I always have their albums, in the car, and I always listen to them. If you're talking about new music, I love the new Megadeth album. I love the new Disharmony album, the Greek band. I don't know if you have listened to it. It's a
Yes, yes.
fantastic album. I really like the new Toxic album. What else? The new Avatarium album is really interesting as well. Um, yeah, I can't remember any more right now, but yeah, I really enjoy these albums, and I've also acquired them. So because I'm a vinyl lover, so I still buy music and support the bands.
Any memories from the first time you went on stage?
With Democracy, you mean?
Or not? The first ever time, if you want, or with Democracy?
Okay, look, I will tell you a funny story about the first time that I went on stage, not with Democracy, but the
Yes,
first
yes.
time that yes, I sang. So it was a cover band, and we were playing rock covers and soul covers and blues covers. So it was my first concert, and after of course, I shouldn't have been that great, but not bad. I mean, and I remember that a friend of mine, everyone was, congratulating me, saying, "Yeah, go on, you have it," or "You're good," or whatever. And this friend of mine came and said, "Michael, you should stop singing." And I laughed because I thought he was joking because everyone was, congratulating me. And he said, "No, really, you should stop singing." And I was stunned. I was like, "Okay." The funny thing is that I played with this person a few years later, so it's all just a funny story. Uh, so maybe sometimes you should listen what people say, right?
Yes. Okay.
Anyway,
Any memories from the worst or best show you had?
with Democracy, okay, the best show was probably in Hamburg with the guys from BST, the doom metal band from Hamburg. Also, Hammer of Doom was an amazing experience back in 2014 because they invited us even before our first album was released. So it was really big for us. And, meeting John Perez there and the guys from St. Vitus and other bands, it was amazing experience. And, the stage itself. And it was a great concert. But the memories about concerts, it's all having stories to tell. I mean, I remember a concert in the middle of nowhere in Belgium, in a village with very few people in the audience. But it was nice. I mean, it's all having stories to tell. Every band starts somewhere, doesn't it? So, yeah, it was nice.
Something that you regret throughout your career?
Oh no, I don't really have regrets. I mean, what I would regret would be if we in Doomocracy played the same thing all over again, like some bands do. From album to album, no change, same music, same style, same singing style for the singer, for example, and everything. I love bands that dare to change and progress from one album to the other, even if that means that they will fail. I mean, look at what Queensryche did, for example, and they managed to go from a really amazing classic heavy metal album, which was The Warning, to a more progressive album, Rage for Order, then release the best conceptual album, I think, which is Operation Mindcrime, then go more, popular with Empire, and then really experiment with Promised Land, which it still is an amazing album. And then probably, I don't know why, because of the media or, the record label or whatever, they released Here and the Now Frontier, which was, a bad album, let's be honest. But even in that context, I mean, if they hadn't progressed their music, we wouldn't have listened to albums like Operation Mindcrime or Promised Land, for example, which are really experimental albums, or Age for Order. Anyway, just bringing up Queensryche as an example to, support what I'm saying. I really am fan of bands that dare to change from one album to the other.
Last message to your fans?
Yes, I'd like to say that we're overwhelmed by the feedback we got from our fans about Unorthodox. Unorthodox being a more experimental album, we were, kind of worried that maybe the die-hard doom metal fans might find the album odd or unorthodox as the album is, right? Yes. So we had some worries about that, but even our most devoted, true doom metal fans loved the album, and we were, kind of relieved that this happened. And I mean, we just want to thank all our fans, and we hope to see them soon on stage.
Michalis, thank you very much for this interview. The album for me is phenomenal. I like it very much. It was that I was expecting from Doomocracy from 5 years ago that first heard you. Thank you very much for this interview. I hope seeing you on a gig here in Athens, or maybe I will go down to Crete to see you. Okay.
Thank you so much for this interview and for your support. I really hope we will play in Athens in 2023. We plan to do this, and I hope to see you there. Thank you.